everyone. Now, I will be discussing our research on the factors influencing household consumption expenditure. Our study analyzes key economic variables like GDP, taxes, inflation, and population changes, offering insights that can guide policymakers in designing strategies to stimulate economic growth and enhance consumer welfare. Introduction. Household consumption expenditure, often called consumer spending, constitutes a substantial portion of a country's GDP and reflects the spending behavior of households on goods and services. Understanding its determinants is essential for formulating effective policies to stimulate economic growth, manage inflation, and enhance consumer welfare. Consumption is primarily driven by several economic factors, and fluctuations in household consumption can have profound implications for economic stability and growth. Therefore, identifying and understanding these determinants is critical for crafting policies that foster economic resilience and prosperity. Keynesian consumption theory suggests that household consumption is driven mainly by disposable income, emphasizing the importance of income levels and fiscal policies in influencing consumer behavior. Milton Friedman's permanent income hypothesis, PIH, proposes that households base their consumption decisions on their expected long-term average income rather than current income, indicating that expectations about future income shape current spending patterns. Franco Modigliani and Richard Brumberg's life cycle hypothesis, LCH, further extends these concepts, suggesting individuals plan their consumption and savings over their lifetimes to maintain a stable consumption level despite variations in income at different life stages. Understanding the drivers of household consumption not only has academic interest but also practical implications for policy formulation. By examining the factors influencing household consumption expenditure, policymakers can design effective strategies to manage economic growth, anticipate the impact of downturns, and enhance consumer welfare. Literature review. Several economic theories provide frameworks for understanding household consumption behavior. Keynesian consumption theory, proposed by John Maynard Keynes. This theory posits that consumption is primarily driven by disposable income. The concept of the consumption function, which divides household income between consumption and saving, plays a key role here. Autonomous consumption represents the baseline level of consumption for essential needs, while the marginal propensity to consume, MPC, reflects the portion of additional income spent on consumption. Keynesian theory suggests that increased disposable income leads to a rise in consumption, thus stimulating economic growth. Empirical studies support this theory, demonstrating a strong relationship between income and consumption expenditure, especially during periods of economic growth. Methodology. The study employs multiple regression analysis to investigate the relationship between household consumption expenditure and various economic indicators. The model includes household final consumption expenditure as the dependent variable and independent variables such as government final consumption expenditure, taxes on income, GDP per capita, inflation, population ages, population growth, and tax revenue. Data from 1972 to 2020 for Thailand was used in the analysis, sourced from World Bank databases. Results and discussion. The findings indicate that GDP per capita and taxes on income have a significant positive impact on household consumption expenditure. This supports both Keynesian consumption theory and the permanent income hypothesis, suggesting that as households' income levels rise, their consumption increases. The positive relationship between GDP per capita and consumption implies that households respond positively to stable long-term income changes, aligning with PIH's consumption smoothing behavior. The study reveals two contrasting effects of tax policies on household consumption. While taxes on income show a positive relationship with consumption, implying that favorable tax conditions can enhance household spending, total tax revenue exhibits a negative impact. This suggests that broader tax burdens, such as indirect taxes, may suppress household spending. These findings highlight the complexity of fiscal measures and the need for a balanced approach to tax policies to support consumer spending without imposing excessive burdens that could stifle economic growth. Contrary to expectations, inflation and population growth do not exhibit statistically significant effects on household consumption in this context. The weak influence of inflation contrasts with broader economic literature suggesting that rising inflation erodes purchasing power and reduces consumption. Similarly, the limited impact of population growth on consumption challenges theories that emphasize demographic changes as key drivers of economic behavior. This outcome may indicate that other factors, such as economic stability or changes in household behavior, mitigate the expected influence of inflation and population dynamics. The study also finds a positive but statistically insignificant relationship between the population aged 65 and above and household consumption expenditure. According to the life cycle hypothesis, older populations tend to save less and consume more during retirement. However, the lack of statistical significance in this context may suggest the influence of other factors, such as healthcare costs, social security systems, or regional differences in consumption behavior.